The United States, in its early days, let's say from 1789 to 1870, 1860, was truly laissez-faire, government hands-off, mom-and-pop free enterprise. And that's biblical, Bible-based, true capitalism, where the customer is king and the merchants are competing with each other to make a superior product for a cheaper price. That's the economic system that brings wealth, if it's based upon hard money, real money, or currency that's redeemable in gold and silver coin with honest money. And additionally, those manufacturers are protected by protective tariffs so that they're not going to be wrecked by slave labor coming in from overseas, slave labor produced goods coming in from overseas.
Which is happening now.
Which is happening now.
Right.
Everything that has worked in the past has been totally disbanded now. We have a central bank that's never been audited. It's never never filed a tax return. Its profits are totally unknown. We have no gold and silver coin. All we have is fiat currency. We have no protective tariffs. We have free trade everywhere, which is a British maxim and a Jesuit maxim for the creation of world government.
But hold on, free trade's a good thing, I hear.
Yeah, right. Free trade is a poison to any nation wanting to maintain national sovereignty.
Why is that, though?
Well, because, let's say, for example, let's take a manufacturer of shoes. That manufacturer has to pay its employees a certain amount of money. Those employees then produce the shoes. The shoes then are put out into circulation for the customers to buy. You have a foreign manufacturer that, say, produces the very same kinds of shoes, but those people in Mexico or Argentina or Paraguay are working for 10 cents an hour. And those goods that are produced for 10 cents an hour, the merchants then can put a markup on it, but they can bring them into the country and undercut the merchants of the United States by putting these goods in circulation that will absolutely be bought first by the consumer because the consumer is king. When that happens, the domestic manufacturers die. So in order to protect the domestic manufacturer, it is the responsibility of the federal government, and the government has been created to do one of these things, to impose excise duties and imposts, according to the Constitution. When they lay a duty or protective tariff on these goods coming in, let's say the American pair of shoes cost $20 for the consumer to buy, but the foreign pair of shoes costs $10 for the American consumer to buy when everything's said and done. You put a $10 tariff on every pair of shoes coming in. So now you bring it to parity. Now you're protecting your domestic manufacturers, and if the foreign goods don't like it, they don't have to trade with us. That's how you maintain the national sovereignty of your infrastructure. We have two wild cards here that's a problem. The first wild card is worthless money. We have, when a merchant engages in contract for a price to produce goods, that contract can't be kept in stone because the currency is constantly fluctuating. So he has to have something in the contract that he can raise his price because we have worthless fiat money. We need gold and silver coin and currency that's redeemable and such. That enables a merchant to engage in contract, which is a stable contract that will not change throughout the job. The next thing we have is we have unions. Unions are a crime. Unions are socialism. They were started by socialists, anarchists, and communists. And the unions are all governed and controlled by the Roman hierarchy. I don't care which one you call it, the Teamsters, the Mechanics Union that I used to be in, you name it, they're all controlled ultimately by the Roman hierarchy. You cannot have unions in a country where you're going to have true free enterprise without corporate monopolies. If you have corporate monopolies, you're driven to unions.
Right.
But because we did not have corporate monopolies, and if you read Samuel Morse's work, Foreign Conspiracy Against the Liberties of the United States, he said we don't have any corporate monopolies. And if we don't have that, we have true competition between businessmen to make a better product for a cheaper price. And in that context, you have protective tariffs, because we don't want the Jesuits in their huge commercial activity that they had even back then to have their Chinese coolies produce a good and bring it in here for next to nothing to wreck our domestic manufacture. They used England for that for a long time. That's how they wrecked Turkey, and that's how they wrecked India. India and Turkey were not allowed to have productive manufacturers. They had to bring in all their cotton and the things that they produced into England. England spun it into goods and textiles and then would sell it back to those countries. And that's how you keep a nation servile. You wreck its infrastructure and its domestic manufacturers.